Council.
David Fuller has sent his apologies.
Oh, okay then, right. So apologies for absence then. We've got David Fuller.
Apologies from David and Clive.
Clive, yeah, and Roy with the standing apology.
Right, okay.
Yeah, okay. So we're happy to accept those.
Yeah.
And then we move on to declarations of interests. Don't think we have, right, that's fine. Public participation, there's none of those. Consideration of requests for interested parties, none of those. And okay, so the agenda item then is to suspend our standard procedures and consider this grant for the schools. So the grant for the schools is £3,000 each for Prince William and for the junior school. And the purpose of the grant is to buy computers. Yeah, Jerry.
I'm not sure how we've arrived at that number. Has someone got a little bit of background? Is this what they want or what they need, or what? Where does it come from?
Yeah, go on, Peter. You can fill in the background. Yeah.
Okay. What it is basically, Jerry, is that Phil and Jake are getting 3,000 each. One for OPS, one for PWS, and basically, when I proposed this thing, I thought, well, let's at least Downhill Council do the same amount. That adds up basically to 10 laptops for PWS, and I think it's 15 iPads for OPS. So that's where the £3,000 came from. If you want to give more, or want to increase it, then I'm sure they'd be happy to get that. But I just thought that if we had the same amount, it would be quite nice.
Yeah.
I think what I'd like to know is how much they say they want. So I mean, I think that I suggested to the district councillors that's where they spent their grant anyway. So I'm well in favour of this. I just don't want to end up either giving them money they don't actually need because they've now met all their needs, or not giving them enough because there's actually need £6,000 each. And let's face it, we could probably manage that if we needed to. So I'm perfectly happy to approve 3,000 for each school tonight, but I would like someone to do is to get in touch with the schools and say, what do you actually need?
Okay, Peter. Sorry, the other
sorry, Val, do you want to go first?
Val first, then Peter.
Peter, go first.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, basically, the situation is, Jerry, because I've talked to PWS and Jake's been talking to OPS. OPS need about another 30 or 40 to be comfortable, and PWS very roughly after the 10 that the ENC are going to be giving are still about 40 short as well.
Okay.
But we just thought, well, we can't give that much because hopefully they're going to get people giving second-hand ones in and things like that. So the idea was just to sort of, I just came up with the same figure, but if you want to give more, then they'd be very happy because they need more.
Okay, so we've got Val, Ian, and then Emma. Yeah.
I think it sounds right. There's an idea of equality across all the statutory body bit of it. Then.
Okay, there's a logic to that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There's a logic to it.
Okay, Ian, and then Emma.
Just a quick question: was Peter referring to 30 or 40 thousand or 30 or 40 computers?
Sorry, 30 or 40 computers. Basically, what happened is the government, I can only just deal with PWS on this one because obviously Jake's been doing with OPS. The government to PWW gave a maximum of 27. That's all they've given to them. Now there's 120 students that need computers that have not got computers or laptops at home, or they've got more than 2 or 3 siblings trying to share one piece of equipment. And so the school itself has been able to give 70 out from their own stocks. So the 10 that ENC gives 80, so that leaves a balance of 40.
Right.
So that's where that figure comes from.
Okay. And sorry, second question. We'd be giving the money for the schools to buy the laptops, who'd then keep the laptops if they needed to do this again in a year's time for different people.
Yeah.
The laptops will belong to them as far as I can understand. That's right, isn't it, Emma?
Yeah. Emma.
Yeah. I had a meeting today with the sort of COVID briefing meeting that I have with East Northants Council. I think a lot of the schools in the area have contacted them to see if they've got spare laptops. They haven't, but what they are going to do is through the business enterprise, they're going to go out and see whether they can get computers, laptops, anything through the businesses. So they are looking into that as well. So hopefully some might come through that avenue.
Okay. Yeah, David.
I mean, I suppose you could argue that if we're going to be kind of even-handed and replicate what's going on, then actually we wouldn't be giving out 2 lots of £3,000. We'd give out 1 lot of 3,000, just as one district councillor is giving out 3, another district councillor is giving out 3, and we would be giving out 3. Now, I'm not saying that that necessarily is right or wrong, but in a sense that's the equality of it, yeah, arguably, rather than 6,000. I mean, I do. There's half of me that says I really worry about the idea of suspending our normal ruling, which is that we shouldn't really be shelling out for doing things that arguably another organisation, such as the education department at the county council or whatever, should be doing. On the other hand, the situation is wholly unique. It is an utterly exceptional problem that faces the schools, and we are in a position to help to do something about it. We obviously can't resolve the entire issue. The figures that Peter mentions are daunting, but it would be a gesture of solidarity to do something.
Yes, okay. Ian?
I suppose just 2 things. First of all, I'm on the other end of this, doing this all day or every day at the moment, and just seeing how a poor bit of kit, and I imagine lack of kit is even worse, slows down someone's progress is huge. And Val was saying the other day that we've got to use unprecedented all the time, and this clearly is. And I have an awful feeling that for someone who's sitting there now not using a laptop for the next 2 or 3 weeks, they're just going to fall so far behind. So while I think what David said is absolutely right, a small drop in the ocean from the town, as it were, is probably a worthy consideration in this occasion.
Yeah, okay. So it is very hard on these cases to work out where you pitch the money that we put. We put big lumps of money into skate parks, and we put them into boardwalks and things like this. Here is in terms of urgency, is a big need. But I think the concept of matching the 2 £3,000 payments, I mean, David, just on the point, if each of the councillors was to give £3,000, it would be a lot more than the 2 cases. So, yeah, so I don't know where we pitch it. Jerry?
I remember sent out a spreadsheet which showed how our
budget was.
Grants are well below what they were previous years, for obvious reasons, because a lot of the people we normally give grants to haven't been able to run their events in the last year. So this isn't money we haven't got. This is we've got this and more to give.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% behind giving £6,000 tonight, and I do seriously think we should look at whether or not we look at a grants budget again, even and never mind other budgets, but even the grants budget, and see whether we can top up again for another date, not for tonight, but for another date, and top up again.
Well, I'm very, very aware of how time is so pressing on this issue. I don't know how the pupils are managing without this facility today. And even if we say whatever we say tonight, with the best will in the world, it'll be Friday next week before they've got operational computers. So if we delay anything, if we think that we need to top it up, tonight would be a better time to top it up than in a month's time. We'll go through our normal processes.
Well, it doesn't need to be a month's time, does it? We can meet again next week if people need more time to think about it.
But what would trigger us to meet again next week?
Well, if we approve 6,000 now, we can get on with that. We can then review our grants budget and our other budgets and think again whether we think we should add some more money into the pot and convene again as early as Wednesday next week.
Well, if we said
was it Wednesday or Thursday? Anyway, whatever.
It would be Monday. Would be
notice. Yeah, so
it would be Friday again.
Friday, okay, yeah.
All right, so it's in the month. Right, so I got Peter and then Val.
Can we pull it into the estates meeting then?
No, because the agenda's gone out.
Fair enough.
Okay, Val.
Well, I was just thinking, let's do what we've decided quickly, and then wait and see. There may be also, it may be a long ongoing thing. There may be another problem that crops up that we might want the money for.
All right.
Let's at least do the two to lead the way.
Yeah.
And I think also it gives the chance for other councillors to catch up with what we've done as well. If we suddenly throw out a load of money without them having a chance to understand what we've done.
Yeah.
So let's go with the 6th tonight.
Okay then. Right.
Yeah. So I'll propose that.
Right. Thank you, Jerry.
I'll second it.
Right, Val. Thank you. Right. So in terms of all in favour, yeah. Thank you. Right.
Can I just say thanks very much for both schools? I'm sure they'll send you a letter as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But Peter, we have to thank you for actually triggering this.
Yeah,
thing.
bringing it to our attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Peter.
Yeah, don't forget, Jerry started it all.
All right.
He's going to go.
Thank you, Jerry, then.
Well, Jerry, thank you for poking Peter.
I poked Phil, not Peter.
Can I go and have my curry?
Yeah, but then Phil
Well,
decided to
we're
shout.
having curry as well.
Oh,
Emma.
just a quick one. Today I have spoken to Janet from the primary school, and also the lady Joanne from
Joe, yeah.
and I have all of their bank details. Paul has it now. He's set up them on our bank
Okay.
now, and I shall text him now and say
Right.
1,000, and so we should be able to sort it out so that they've got it by Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe it. Just one moment, Peter. I just want to say that we must have a way of vetting that the money's gone to computers for our own auditing capability.
Yeah, I'll ask them to just prove that.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah,
come
so-
back to us and say, this is the invoice and this is what we purchased, or whatever.
Exactly. Just again for our auditing. And the other
Yeah.
one, Peter, just before I hand over, is when any conditions to the use of these computers, i.e.
Well, they're for Oundle students, aren't they?
Well, what I was going to say is maybe it's easier if we don't say they're for Oundle students.
No, because they could have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I know, Peter, I've had that conversation with you before, but I think just for the school not to get any messed up in any admin issue,
Yeah.
them where they see best.
The only thing that I would like to add on to obviously them getting the computers and things, it would be really, really nice as when they bought the computers, if Tony, in a COVID safe way, and Ian could go around to the schools and actually present the computers to the school and get a photo for our. No?
Well, we might, Peter, have a symbolic photograph. Yeah. Of
Or
us.
something like that, just because I think we should actually advertise the fact that Oundle is giving this money, because it just strengthens the fact that Oundle needs a council.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So they can symbolically show me and Ian throwing charging cables over the fence.
Yeah, well, no, you might as well just throw the laptops over.
I think something could probably go in the next advertiser, can't
I
it?
think that's the way.
I think that's the way forward. I think
That's
at
the
the
way.
moment schools have got enough to deal with without having to try and work out a risk assessment to have a photograph.
Risk assessment.
Are you saying that Tony and
Well,
I
they
are
will have
risky?
to. They will have to.
Well, you are, Ian. I'm not sure about Tony. He's still
No.
self-isolating from June.
I've already put a paragraph in next month's
Yeah.
text.
So I think
Right.
that's
Okay. All right then. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Emma. And the other one is obviously from our previous conversations, there is no obligation to them on where they buy the computers from.
no, exactly. Yeah.
And we possibly need just to re-emphasize that.
Yeah.
That they don't have to contact ourselves for it.
Oh, when I email them and say, the money's on its way, it's entirely up to them where they purchase it from.
Well, they'll be in line with what they've got anyway, won't they?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
They'd had offers of help from elsewhere, and we don't want to put them any on obligation.
No.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. Any other business from any of you? Ian?
Just two very short things, very much for reports. I know there's rice and mango chutney floating around. One is Oundle Info's replacement, Love Oundle. We've sent all our first thoughts to Justin, who's replied back, and he's getting to work with it. He wants to get some photos soon, so I thought I might ask out lots of people that take local photos if they can send any high quality things, and see what comes in. And secondly, as sort of requested on Tuesday night, I've written to Lakeside in Oundle and the CCG. As yet, no reply from anyone. But
sad. Yeah. Okay. I do understand their frustration. Okay, Peter.
I actually spoke to Dr. Richardson yesterday. I said to you about it, Tony, and he doesn't see that they'll be bringing anything to Oundle, unfortunately, Ian.
No, it's just
Simply
communication.
Sorry?
Just communication, explaining to people what's happening.
Yeah. It's a pity, because I think it was a bloody good idea, and I think we should have it, but they seem to be, going with stand ground, and that's it, as far as we're concerned. They've only just, and I emailed everybody the other day, they'd only just done Abbott House, not yesterday, the day before, but it's already rife with COVID, and so are the staff.
Yeah. David?
Well, just to pick up on Peter's point, I mean, my mother-in-law, who's 95 years old, was admitted into Abbott House on the 1st of January. And my wife and I have been sitting there counting the days to when she was going to get the vaccine.
Oh.
And it dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. And eventually we were told that they would get it on Wednesday of this week. And so, of course, she tested positive on Tuesday of this week. And I think, frankly, it's scandalous that that home was left so long that by the time they got the vaccine there were huge problems. I think it's probably come in through the staff, because quite frankly, the people who are resident there are going nowhere. And indeed, my mother-in-law had to isolate, having come out of hospital when she went in there. She's yet to socialise with anybody inside the home. She's not left her room. And yet she still caught it, because presumably a member of staff inadvertently introduced it into the home, despite the testing they do. But I would certainly support any move by this council to write to the powers that be, and I'm not quite sure who it should be, to express, if nothing else, our disappointment that we've got to a stage where it's a little bit like shutting the stable door after the horse has bolted. And the consequences could be disastrous.
Okay, well,
I just had something. I know people who've rung up the practice to try and find out a bit more, information, and they've been treated quite rudely.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that too, I'm afraid.
Not on.
Okay, Peter, then it, and Jerry.
Well, just to say that Polbrook were vaccinated about 10 days ago.
Yeah, I don't know what
I thought was a bit strange, because they didn't come to Oundle at the same time.
Yeah, Jerry?
I was just going to say about ringing the practice. You shouldn't be ringing the practice. It's quite clear on their website. We absolutely should not be encouraging anyone to ring the practice. That's not the right thing to do.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we'll. I'll draft something and get it to Emma to put into. I think it's best that we go into Lakeside with it. Yeah. Okay. And Peter again.
Yeah. The last point is about next Wednesday's meeting.
Yes, the
ENC. I can't make it, but I'm hoping that Ian and you at least will sort of be able to get there and do it.
Yeah, so you got me down as a speaker, Emma. Did you ask for Ian as well?
I haven't not yet, Ian, but I will do.
Okay,
that's fine.
Right, so Ian, I'll do the speech writing for you, so you get on and listen to your parents this weekend.
I'll get looking handsome and exciting for Wednesday if I get in.
Only half of them care.
It's a lot of work to do. No, not even half. Not even half.
All right then. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you, Emma, for setting us up on this one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Onward. All right. Cheerio now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.